step ups.
Then let's touch on that, because you just talked about the knee over toe. What about that exercise? I mean, that's one that you demonstrate a whole lot. Is this something that has to be added in there? Is the guys got to worry about form? And you cited a Duke research paper that apparently is the reason why everyone's like, don't put your knees over, like, and then we just kind of, we were all like, okay.
I mean, I try not to cite any research papers of any kind anymore, but there have been research papers from like the 70s that said, like, all they did is just test like the force of exercises, and they found like when your knee goes over your toes, it puts more pressure on your knees. Now it's just up to us how we interpret that. I would go, okay, well, if I don't want my knee to explode and be in pain when I play sports, I'd like to be good at that.
Right.
So a lot of people interpreted it to avoid, and that's why I'm not knees over toes guy for no reason. I went to trainer after trainer who trained me. Don't let your knees over your toes. So they were just commanding me not to get better with my knees over our toes. Watch Messi or any of these guys in slow motion, and you're going to see the amount of force with their knees over their toes. And the stiffer, slower, less agile guys use less knees over toes. They can't trust that position as much. The best athletes in basketball, like Michael Jordan, you'll almost be in pain watching if you watch him in slow motion. His knees are practically touching the floor all the time. He's 6'6", but then could get this low from his knees. So the top running backs, those guys who have to be crazy shifty, they're just able to get their knees more over their toes. How shifty could you be with a completely stiff leg? Imagine literally sewing up so that your knees could not bend and your legs are straight. You'd get tackled instantly. You wouldn't have any of that shiftiness. So that's like, sometimes it takes rewinding something and realizing where we've gone wrong. If your legs were completely straight, meaning if you restricted knees over toes in sport, you literally wouldn't be able to play your sport. You would look like an absolute joke, and you wouldn't even be able to get to any kind of level in your sport. And then the top guys have more knees over toes. But what if you're like me and you don't have much knees over toes, right, and you're in pain trying to have your knees over your toes? Get good at that, because I was here, the top athletes are here. So my career is just figuring out what already existed. Sure. Like, I'm not even making anything up. It's just finding, like, how do you get to what you want if you're not? So that was my blessing, was that I was the slowest guy on my team. You know what I mean? The guy who had the worst knees on the team.
I'm
Sign up for Goluremi Nation, because it is the members only group where you can actually get better as a baller.